Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we have multiple topics at hand, but the overarching one is MCC Team Making Challenge 5. It's been a little while, it's been almost a month since the last one, so we'll do that at the end. But first, some other news-related stuff to talk about very briefly, as I also lower the volume of the music ever so slightly, thank you. This post, somebody was like, Wolfeei incoming, not a full one. This post talks about how some people, or more so how MCC is treated as royalty compared to other events. People care more about MCC. That's expected, that's normal. It's the biggest Minecraft event. It's the main one that gets the attention. However, this person says that they find it a little bit unfortunate that some people don't stream the Blockers events on their main accounts, or that they don't save their VODs or whatever. That's fine. Obviously, I am very much aware of where people stream. It's not like I invite people and don't see the results of said events. However, I think there's also a bit of a misunderstanding, partially here. For example, Redunes was mentioned in this as somebody who used to stream on YouTube and then streamed on Twitch. The reason Red streamed on Twitch was because he was not at his PC, and he obviously wants to put the highest quality blockers on YouTube, and the lower quality blockers when he's playing will go on Twitch. Rain is kind of hit or miss. It kind of depends on the team and on the event and on the day. Sometimes she'll stream on the main, sometimes she'll stream on the second channel. It is what it is. That's totally fine. People like Joel stream blockers on Twitch while they stream MCC on YouTube, that's totally fine, etc. Right? There's many other examples, but yeah, it's fine. It's not a problem. Anyways, next, there was a tier list posted by Kelawesome on Twitter for Minecraft event games. I was gonna go in depth and make a whole video about this, but the thing this boils down to, apparently this wasn't just Kel, because there was a group of people of which I only recognized Kelawesome. And then they said that there was a collective cook. So this is apparently the agreement they had across the board with all of them. I think this is from a playing standpoint, ? Which is weird because I don't know, unless all of these people are testers, of course, which I have no clue. This probably makes sense because SOT, in my opinion, hot take possibly, is the best Minecraft event game to play, but it's not the best Minecraft event game to watch, in my opinion. So yeah, that's that. This probably makes sense for the rest. I will say, Block Wars surprisingly high. So hey, you'll love to see it. I'm just used to people hating on Block Wars for whatever reason they feel like is justified. I like seeing Block Wars get appreciation. That's awesome. Thanks guys, appreciate it. So yeah, that's the Kelawesome tier list. May said that Blitz Hunt doesn't belong in S tier. That is incorrect. That's why I replied with the Freddy Fazbear stare image, because it was funny. Anyways, next up is MCC Team Making Challenge number 5. If you are unaware of what MCC Team Making Challenge 5 is, or what MCC Team Making Challenge is, I'm just gonna ignore that, go over here. We've made some team making challenges in the past. It's a thing where I give you a roster of players to work with. The roster is, you pretend these are signups and you play the role of being a event organizer, right? Where this was the first one, for example. And from that, people make their own teams, etc. To see, how good is the audience at making teams? Because people obviously very often have opinions about the teams that are made, so let's see how the audience does, and I would usually rate them, etc. Recently, the rating has been a bit less active, not only because I am now more busy, but also because it was a lot. But another thing is, MCC Team Making Challenge hasn't been as active because it is something that is hard to keep interesting, right? There's very few themes that make sense to try and make sense to explore, and also make sense to have as learning material. I think, for example, the most recent one, Team Making Challenge 4, of course, involving Lifesteal and Hermitcraft fully makes a lot of sense, is really fun, but it doesn't really result in very cohesive teams. It doesn't really make for a interesting roster. I think from an MCC standpoint, it doesn't really feel like MCC anymore. So, the next team challenge that I have come up with is to just go all in for Ender Cup 2. And for Ender Cup 2, which obviously, you know, is a cool concept event, I'm going to use my perspective and some other people's perspective of at least going into the event before the teams were announced, expecting a very popular roster. So what I decided to do is I decided to look at this Ender Cup roster, grab some of the people that I think are on the more popular side, of course, to have in this event again. Maybe some people included as well to help with team structure, and also add a handful of people or so that can help bring things together and make for some interesting combinations. So of course these are 40 people. Not all 40 of these people are on this tier list. The total number of players here is 69, nice. And from this, I challenge you to make Ender Cup level teams. So now it gets interesting because you have to now pretend you are the Minecraft event organizer, and Mojang asks you to make an event partnered or sponsored or whatever with Minecraft. They want maybe a certain amount of viewership, they just want whatever is the coolest, you want to make this as big of a deal as possible. Now it's your turn to try to make a very hype, very big roster that feels like MCC, but also feels special. That's the challenge. I decided to give this one a shot myself. I will say, it is very difficult with the amount of options here to mess up. You can't really make a bad roster with the level and like the selection of players you have. But you do have a lot of options and a lot of variety to work with as well for this event. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember what the teams were that I made because I made this like 2 days ago. So let's look at it together. I will say also that I'm fairly sure some of the more like rare and special people from this list of players, for example, Jacksepticeye, I did not include because I didn't. I don't know. Here's the roster I came up with. And again, like mentioned, you want to make it feel a bit like MCC, but also feel a bit special in the sense of hype and interest, etc. You see a lot of lifesteal rep, of course, here as well compared to the usual MCC. But yeah, you have a Hermit team with Jimmy. This is also like a lower comp-ish trending. You have an orange team that I really like. Parker and Clown, iconic duo, of course. Tina also fits nicely there with Clown, and Ross also fits very nicely. A very chaotic yellow team here. Of course, initially I think this had Tommy instead of Beck, but I would say that Beck is a more likely inclusion for something like this than Tommy, as much as I would like to put Tommy in. Of course, it would have been a very interesting team, but even with Beck, very fun team. You have a Lime team that just feels very solid. I don't know, it just makes sense. Also, I do keep spamming the Scott and Shelby duo, but it's so reliable and I like it. It's such a good one. So it works. You get the green team here, which is a very interesting one, a very dudes team, where Etoile, you know, gels well with everybody here. Foolish and John coming out of retirement, I guess, for MCC. Not really retirement. John plays Twitch Rivals. Foolish also is in Twitch Rivals. Either way, very fun team of dudes. Get a full gals team, of course, on Cyan with JoJo repping not just lifesteal, but also being very close to Hermits, where you see a Hermit gal trio. Very fun. Aqua team being a full variety focused team. Yes, we're counting Sneak Snag as the variety player, alright. I know he would like to be considered variety. Very fun combo. Sneak and Janet know each other. Sneak and Saikuno know each other. SK here knows at least Janet and probably also Saikuno, maybe also Sneak. Very fun combo nonetheless. Blue team is a kind of out of the ordinary Minecrafter-ish team, right? Of course, Smant not so much a Minecrafter now, but he's very closely tied to Minecraft. You get Camman as an insanely surprising but very popular Minecraft creator making his debut in a MCC event, of course, just like Parker, Cancer, and Clown, of course. There's some others as well. But yeah, Camman put together with Preston, of course, which is the iconic duo. Smant also fits nicely into that. And then I just gave him Exumo, who I think would fit pretty nicely. You get a purple team, which is incredible. I mean, I love it. I think it's awesome. Red and Sparkles, of course, is an iconic duo. I think Scar fits in very nicely there. And then Dan TDM. Dan TDM. We gotta see him back if there's ever another Ender Cup. Even if it's not an Ender Cup, we gotta see it. And then finally, to close things out, another Minecraft-focused team where you have, I would say, the biggest modern competitive Minecraft content creator, being Feinberg, of course, paired up with a Hermit trio of Grian, Doc, and B-dubs. So yeah, very interesting across the board. Of course, because what we saw in Ender Cup, there could be more variety, there could be less variety, we don't really know. But there's a lot of variance that you can see in a roster like this. So go ahead and be experimental with it, alright? Last time in Ender Cup, we had 2 variety-focused teams, or variety-forward teams, where, of course, a trio of variety streamers plus an S tier was included. For the most part, it was Minecraft-oriented, right? The one I ended up making here had a variety-forward team, of course, with Phil. We have a variety-forward team on Aqua here. And then we have some sprinkled in, of course, Tina is in there, for example, and Smant, right? So do what you want. Let me know what you guys think of the one I made, of course, and let me know what you would make out of this event. This would be a huge roster. Of course, viewership-wise, this is probably hitting a very comfortable, like, 60, maybe 70k. Sorry. But yeah, would be pretty cool. Either way, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.